Go ahead.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. My name is Meghna. I have been working as a design verification engineer in my own system. Before I worked as a hardware design engineer in Schneider Electric. The intention of joining this Toastmaster is to like I'm having the barrier like when I'm as a public speaker when I'm in the meetings. Sometimes I will give the path, and the major issue I'm facing is my accent. So that is one of the major reason I choose to be in Toastmaster. And regarding come to me now, I'm a wife of a naval officer. Usually, I will be attending the Naval Welfare Association. So there also I will be like social service. I will do all other activities such as um, beach cleaning and Tata is egg collecting activities. And coming to my hobbies, like I used to play with kids, and cooking is my one of the hobby. This is how I go. Thank you so much.
Yes. You remember? Last exam should be counting. Quickly.
Good morning, all. I am Lowell, basically from Pool. Currently, I stay in KR Puram, and professionally, I am working for a MNC called Expeditors. We are into freight forwarding and logistics. I'm here to enhance my knowledge in public speaking, and I am a little hesitant to start in the public, like the meetings and all. So I'm here to enhance the knowledge. So hope help me out. Thank you.
Hi everyone, again, I'm Girish. Some of you might remember I was here a few months ago. Thanks for that. Stay in the same complex. I work for a company based in Bombay. My wife works here, so that's why I work from home. I'm an engineer, which means I'm boring. I'm quantitative. And now I realize that with AI being boring and quantitative, we have to move up the food chain and become more human and learn to speak and connect and motivate, influence, inspire, all of those big words, right, which I don't know much of. And I've been part of Toastmasters in the past. I did my old communication course maybe about 15 years ago, and I found it really helpful. Really pushed me up. So, step up.
Okay, so on that note, I also double up as a TMOD, Toastmaster of the Day. So I am so nervous today. He was supposed to be presenting on the show. Okay, so that's pretty much where we are. I don't know if you guys are nervous. You don't have to be nervous. I can be. I cannot be. Look at the kind of audience we have got for you. It's filling. Physically, emotionally also it will be fulfilling. Today we are talking about graduations. Let me start by saying Girish told us that he's an engineer, he's boring and he's quant. I'm an accountant. Imagine how I'm pro maths when it comes to being boring. Okay. So about graduation, let me ask a few of you. What do you remember of your graduation ceremony? I'm going to ask perhaps one of the two youngest members in this particular audience, Tanuja ma'am.
Thank you. My graduation ceremony never happened.
Same applies to me also because I qualified as a chartered accountant, and in those days I didn't care two hoots about it. They would just be like, you cleared, well done, now find your job. There was nothing after that. It took around 4 or 5 years subsequent to me clearing chartered accountancy that they initiated this graduation ceremony. And Manoj, your graduation, do you remember? What is it? Yes, sir. You didn't have a graduation either?
Actually, we never had one. I don't even remember it.
Okay, let me ask, the new Meghna is raring to go to talk about her graduation, is that right? Yeah, please go ahead. That's fine, that's fine.
I graduated in 2018.
Okay,
So my graduation, like it's like I always all my old friends and after 1 year we had
Oh.
graduation happened.
okay, okay.
So I had my close friends. After 1 year, it is a long gap, I think. Now it's 4 years. Like I didn't even meet them. So it was full of we are giving a oath, like this is what we will be contributing to the society after that graduation. So that happened. There are memories I have.
Nice. Memories, okay, 4 years, 5 years back is not memory. It's part of. Cash, exactly, it's part of cash. I know system enough. Awesome, very nice. And why does it take 1 year for graduation? Is that how it normally happens? 1 year later? Do they really check whether you cleared your work deliberately? Is that the extra 1 year for?
Maybe for the areas to clear first, who needs to be done.
Arrears to clear, maybe the interest on your capitation fee, it needs to mature for them to fund the graduation. Possibly. And have you seen graduation speeches that float around in YouTube?
That happens in the US.
US, yeah. In the US.
I
You have seen which one has been most impressive for you, Deepak?
recently I saw this Mahindra, Anand Mahindra.
Okay.
It was good.
Did he talk about Twitter only or did he talk about?
I mean, subject is, I cannot recall, but it was very appreciated very well by now.
That's the WhatsApp university. Forwards. Very nice. Dharan, when did you graduate?
2012 once and 2016. Engineering.
Very nice, very nice. You had graduation ceremony, all that black color dress and all.
Yeah.
In the town. How much does it cost to rent one?
Just for the knowledge.
Just for general knowledge.
I don't know whether.
Excellent, super. So, let me come to the structure of a Toastmasters meeting. Normally, how it happens and how we will slightly modify because we have 5 very special people today amongst us. Normally, Toastmaster meeting comprises of 3 segments. First is called the prepared speech segment, where members who are pursuing certain pathways will do projects and they will end it with a speech and give it to all the audience. The second section is called the table topic section, where you are all expected to participate, and this is open for guests as well, to give an impromptu speech for 1 to 2 minutes on a topic that is given to you after you walk the stage. The third is called evaluation. Evaluation section is where the prepared speeches get evaluated, and then we have certain role takers who will come and give their reports, and then there's a general evaluator who will give his evaluation about his or her evaluation about the whole content of the meeting, when it started, how it was. But I'm not going to steal the thunder. Today, where we will deviate is we will not have speech evaluators. We are giving you the absolute joyride of talk, whatever you want to talk. We will simply clap. Okay, everybody's got a GPay credit of 10 rupees already. If you're wondering where your step money went, this guy. On that note, it gives me great pleasure to welcome one of the founding members of Foodie Toastmasters Club, somebody who is a guide 24/7. He is not part of customer support, he is there for Toastmaster support all the time. He's done a lot of analyst roles in his career, a very soft spoken but very direct Toastmaster, somebody whom we all look up to. Gives me great pleasure to welcome our general evaluator for today, DTM Manoj.
Just to continue where we left off, I'm just 5'7". Look up.
So let's put it this way. How's the ride been so far, guys? How's your experience being part of Speechcraft?
Speechcraft, people like
What is it that you liked best? How do you put it? Like, what is it that you found was the best takeaway you would say that yes, okay, I found this particular objective satisfying.
So, you don't have to be perfect in actually delivering the speeches, but as long as you do the communication right, it's okay. And I think this Toastmaster Club has given that platform and feedback constantly. So I really enjoyed all the sessions, so I never missed one. Yeah, so that's tangible result.
Anybody else?
I think it provides, so.
So I felt people are friendly because when I joined Toastmasters, I was thinking that, I mean, everyone will be like, Shashi Tharoor. What I was expecting, but when we get to know, okay, people are like us trying to improve, it gave us more confidence. And when everyone cheers us up, it just boosts us and we don't want to miss the session. So,
Sometimes substance, you also realize you could back like Tendulkar. Well, a little differently. He did it on the beach, we did it on the local. Anybody else?
Yes, I think we cannot improve like maybe 10-20% at one time, but 2%, 3% every time. I think that is what I learned.
Great. Thank you guys for the wonderful feedback, because two things. One, as a club and as a group which ran the Speechcraft, your feedback comes in handy for us, because as Arun mentioned, this is the first time that we are doing, even though we guys have all participated when somebody else did the meaning, we will go as present as evaluators and all. But this is the first time that we did as a club here in Chennai. So this feedback coming from you guys gives us a direction whether, like, now we are confident from ourselves, okay, we can try one more attempt at running another Speechcraft session. There are clubs in Bangalore which been doing Speechcraft for years together. Dixon, Bangalore City, how many years, if you can remember?
More than 7 or 8 years they've done it.
They run Speechcrafts continuously through the year, at least 2 to 3 sessions a year they run. And people come, and that's imagine an infantry road, if an evening 6 o'clock, not any other, I think Wednesday.
Friday.
We can imagine if you go to infantry road to attend that session, either you're crazy or there has to be. So we also intend to go to that levels. Your feedback definitely comes much to us. And like how Dharni mentioned, Toastmasters is not about achieving perfection. It's more about learning, constant learning. It's not about your diction or your pronunciation. It's about how you can get your idea across to the other guy and how you can become a better listener. These are the two fundamentals. As Arun mentioned, Toastmasters was started by Ralph Smedley to help the young men of the day to be better communicators. What is a toast, guys? Any of you know? Seriously, what's a toast? Morning room? Yes, sir. Almost correct. Almost correct.
Yes.
Can anybody add on to what he said? See, this is a Western concept. Okay, it's not a so-called global or something. It was a Western concept in that day. In fact, today it's more or less a Western concept, unless we become very fancy
Maybe
and
appreciation, you could say.
we point to again correct.
I can say, let's do this together.
Cheers. Not exactly. No.
No, talking about that particular.
No. Toastmasters cannot answer. How about you? Huh? No idea. Dharni.
I read somewhere during weddings, you want to give a speech.
You're on the right road. You're on the right road. But now the question comes, what is a toast?
Someone does good thing.
Okay.
Let's celebrate that, something like that.
Pretty close. Can anybody add on to that?
Bread with buttons.
I think so much of time had breakfast.
He's right, but
Toast. He's not wrong. All right. The first is the context. So as Deepak rightly mentioned, it is a point wherein an appreciation is given for a person in an audience. Now the question is, when you have to appreciate a person, how do you start it up? How do you present it? So you should be an eloquent speaker, right? You just cannot say, okay, fine, guys, cheers to this guy. That's what happens today in today's generation. But there was a time and there is a place and time, like as he mentioned, weddings, etc. Commonly, like, wherein somebody from the groom side and somebody from the bride side praises the groom or the bride, say, these are the, all the good virtues of the bride and the groom are explained to the society, and all the nice things that they did is explained to the audience, right? So that's exactly what a toast is. In line with what Gita says, you praise that person over there. But then that act of praising the person requires a few things. One, a confidence to speak, and two, the ability to communicate with. So you have a certain set of ideas. It's not just about writing a speech and just reading it. There's a style that you have to give about it. So that style is where your individual traits come in as a speaker. So that's what happens at Toastmasters. As I said, we are not here to say, like, there's a bunch of contests at the end of the year, you subscribe, do so many levels, you can participate, no. We are here so that you enjoy your writing. I mean, like some of us guys, if I've been there for 10 years, the previous club is Dixon was, there are guys who have been there for the last quarter century. That's the oldest club in Bangalore? No, not in
First club in India.
The first Toastmasters club in India. I did well over 25 years now.
Yeah, 30 years.
30 years plus. And there are guys who are 30 years with us. Every 6 months they pay that $45. Either they have to be really patriotic to the cause, or they need their tablets. And we are talking about retired guys, 60s guys, not ordinary guys. So let's move on with the meeting today. So in our Toastmasters meeting, we typically have 3 roles: a timer, the SAA, and the table topics master, and of course you have your speech evaluators, grammarian and R counter. So today the grammarian and R counter are not there. We're keeping that trimmed down. So already we had the Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Arun, who basically the Toastmaster of the day is what we call MC, Kapil Sharma. Kapil Sharma. Next we have Toastmaster Abhishek, who was the Sergeant at Arms. Sergeant at Arms is a person who regulates the meeting in terms of the so-called back-end activity. Abhishek was a guy who started the meeting for us. So he's a guy who's ensured all the stuff is ready. That's what sorry, Kalpesh, I got it, my fault. And next we will be having Toastmaster Dixon, who's going to be the table topics master. All of you are familiar with table topics. So once again, the gentleman will be back. Now I will ask Toastmaster Arun to resume the session and continue.
Before we get going with the speeches, we have a very simple rule of time duration that we've taken care of. So I request Toastmaster Shantakumar to tell us how he will be timing the speeches today and what signals you'll be getting as you speak.
Hi, good morning all. Good morning, my fellow Toastmasters and guests. I'll be playing the role of a timer today. So as a timer, it's my responsibility to remind the speaker about the time that they have taken. As you all are aware, there's a particular time limit for each table speech. So for prepared speech, we're talking about 4 to 6 minutes, right? So I'll be showing these 3 different cards as you cross the milestones. So for a prepared speech, the milestone is 4 minutes, 5 minutes, 6 minutes. So when you cross 4 minutes, I'll be showing the green card, right? When you cross 5 minutes, I'll be showing the yellow card. And then when the last final 6 minutes will red card. And then I'll be holding it just to remind you that you are end of the speech. Then we have this table topics, which is normally 2 minutes time. Correct? As you know, table topics, they give an ad hoc topic, and the presenter is supposed to make up his mind and quickly. We also have a deadline for that. That's 2 minutes. So within the 2 minutes, we have milestone as 1 minute. I'll be showing the green card, 3 minutes, yellow card. And then the moment 2 minutes is over, we should the next. So wish you all the best. Thank you.
Joined our club barely a couple of months back, and he's taken every role that is on offer. And that's one way to grow, because every role has its own little constraints and joy that you perform. And that's an easy way to grow as a Toastmaster, understand what it takes to run a Toastmasters meeting right from within. So I appreciate Toastmaster Shantakumar for that.
I should thank Arun for all the guidance to make comfortable any of the roles. So
UPI transfer did not happen. And the best thing about being a Toastmaster is you don't have to stand at the US consulate at 4 AM to get your green card. You get it every time you speak. On that note, we will get started with the prepared speeches. I'm excited about this. We will go in alphabetical order. The request is once every speech captor finishes the speech, we will all stand up and applaud with a standing ovation. This is what we normally do for an icebreaker and a pathway completion, and a speech craft program completion is as much a pathway completion. So we'll start with the first speech crafter. He is a Keralite who settled in Bangalore for the last 16 years. He's got a wife and a child. That's what he's written. And he loves football. He's played football. He's watched Football World Cup live in Qatar. He's a trained Carnatic musician, vocalist, and a violinist. We have loved hearing his speeches throughout the journey. And if I've left something out, they didn't stand out for me. Okay? Kidding. So let me read out exactly what he said. This is half autobiography. A Kerala settled in Bangalore since last 16 years. Finally, family comprises of wife and a daughter, an ex-banker now associated with Fidelity National Information Services, ardent football player, fan, privileged to watch Football World Cup live, music lover, trained, and of course he loves traveling and exploring new places like all of us do. And today we will have speech crafter Arun presenting his speech. I'm going to be speech crafter.
Thank you. Good morning, all. So, which country has done the maximum innovations in the field of space, or which country has given the maximum number of Nobel Prizes? Which country has won this in the history? Can any of you guess on that?
USA.
Yes. So that's true. But have you ever thought like how USA has become like a country like who has won this thing? Like history knows that all countries had all resources, like they had almost started like everyone on the same time or at the same time period. But then how did they become this superpower? Till 1400s, US was an unknown land occupied by the Red Indians until the Europeans came in and then colonized. The French, the Spanish, and the Britishers came in and colonized, and along with them came the war and the diseases. 80% of the Red Indians like lost their lives, and then only the remaining 20% were left over them. Move over to 1776 when they got their independence, and then America declared themselves as independent and became United States of America with an initial number of just 13 states. Further, they knew that land bank is the best investment, real estate even was, that is still a big investment now. And they started like looking forward to expand their geography. They started inviting their neighboring states, and for example, Florida joined them by invitation. They purchased wherever they could. For example, Alaska, they got it by purchase, and wherever they couldn't do these both, they went and conquered Hawaii Islands, for an example. Once by 20th century, America has become the third biggest land bank in the world. Now they have enough resources. And then came the time of World Wars, World War I and World War II. The best time for improving the economy, Europeans were fighting on one side and America was making arms and ammunition and supplying to them. They made money during this time, whereas they saw that no war was fought on their mainland. They saw that arms were supplied and their economy went up, whereas the Europeans were getting trained. By the second half of these world wars, America joined and saw that the Europeans were completely closed off. And then after the world wars, all other countries were drowned in ditches, whereas like this guy, US, they were economically powerful, and then like they had a good supply of arms and ammunition ready for sale anytime. Now the economy is also built. Next came the time of Cold War, when USA and USSR were matching to each other to become the superpower of this world. Wherever an issue occurred or whenever there was a conflict between some countries, they took part on each side and then they were supporting these countries. By early 90s, it's USSR was found, like they lost their power and they went out. And then it resulted in USA to become the only superpower
with over 800 military bases outside their mainland. So then they are established already. And right after that, in history, if you see that this is not like they have always been conquering or always been supplying arms and ammunition and making money. They were even inviting their talents whenever they found there are good talents. They invited the talents throughout the world. They saw that these people are given the best of the world facilities, and then the outputs of those were taken up by them. For example, Dr. Albert Einstein, like was born German, was invited to US, and then he was his final years, like he always were there. To other few are like Kalpana Chawla or Salma Hayek or Anna Kournikova, like people in various fields. You had all these people. But being a superpower, like how is the life in US? It's not the same like how you feel the American dreamland. For the citizens, for the common people, America is not that fairy place where they can have their life. If you check, like 1% of this, 1% of the population is called the super rich category, whereas the remaining 99% doesn't come under this category. And this 1% hold around 42% of the economy. So you can imagine like what is the plight of remaining people who are staying there. Add to it the gun shoots which is happening or the racist discrimination which is happening throughout the country. The insurance policy or the cost of insurance is on a higher side, and recent studies show that around like 27 to 28% of the students go bankrupt by the time they come out of the college after graduation. So the happiness index survey, which is conducted among the citizens, show that USA is far behind than the Scandinavian countries like Sweden, Norway, or Denmark. So it's a food for thought whether a country has to follow a path where they become a superpower, or a country has to follow a path where they are seeing their citizens happy and prosperous. That's all the question.
People who are online, joined online, how are you doing, Ankit?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Arun, thank you for asking. I was just unmuting it, and it's all good. I was not there in 2 meetings before. I was in a marriage and all the things, but now I will be consistent again.
Super. Saurabh, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good, Arun. Enjoying the speeches.
There are more to come, and I'm sure you'll enjoy. Shashi, are you there on the line?
Yeah, I'm here. So this is my this is my third meeting.
Sure.
So I'm still here as a guest. I'm planning to join you. Maybe next time.
No pressure. Enjoy the meeting. When you feel it's the right time, it's the right time. As simple as that.
Sure.
Excellent. So we'll now move to the second speaker, speech crafter. This speech crafter has 20 years experience in IT and telecom. After 20 years, he spent 12 years in Siemens. And
Ericsson.
this is why I should read it. Not working with Ericsson for last 12 years. Sorry about that. And he recently relocated to Bangalore. And as a person, वो बोलते हैं दिल से अच्छा है, सोना है, all of that. That's how I would remember Deepak always. A very pleasant person to interact with, and a very genuine, authentic person. Not to take this away from other people. Saying these are persons that I truly admire in Deepak. He's recently got a Tata Punch. He isn't written in his bio, but I know that. And I welcome speech crafter Deepak to give his graduation speech and the director of speech. Unconscious bias, speech crafter Deepak.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Good morning. Unconscious bias. It is also called as implicit bias. So what comes to your mind when I say this? It's something subconscious in our mind. It defines the attitudes and stereotype that we unconsciously follow in our daily life. How is it developed? It is developed from your family background, where you are born, and how you spend your childhood. And then in office setting, where what type of people you interact with. And then normal social environment where you grow up. All these things affect unconscious bias. So is it main problem with these biases? It works at subconscious level. So we even don't know that like we are having that bias. Comments like you don't look like from this state. It's a very simple and not thought at comment, but it does affect the person who, not all of them, but some of them can affect their biases. So these are the biases. I'll touch upon 2-3 of them, and then I will try to explain how we can get awareness about it, and then try to improve on this. Some of the biases are race bias. Race bias, just now I gave comment as an example. Another one is gender bias. Example of gender bias is like in an office situation. Sometimes we ask female colleague to take notes repeatedly, thinking that they are very good at administrative work, but it is not always like that, right? Sometimes they have some other skills. So we are missing out on that. This is one of the bias. And then another bias is age bias. So where is it manifested? Age bias. Age bias is manifested in a situation like you think some experienced person is overqualified for that particular position, right? Whereas that person might have worked very hard and he's interested for that position, but you just think that he's overqualified because of his. So these are few places where this bias gets manifested. Now, how does it affect people? It affects both person as well as organization, because sometimes you are missing on good people, right? Just because of your bias, you are missing on good people. You are hiring people based on your preconceived thoughts. So how do we prevent this? For prevention, we need to consciously plan, process, or standard way of, in office settings, maybe standard way of hiring, so that we avoid these biases. And in school settings, students, right, they may face this bias and it can ruin their career as well. Because they are at tender age, if somebody goes through it, it can have long-lasting effect. So now, action or call for all of you is to go and read about this, because it's something very misunderstood. Please go and read about it, understand what it is, and then try to discuss within your family, friends, and let everybody knows there is something called unconscious bias, and there is a way by which we can reduce its bad impact. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Now we'll move to the third speech for today, and the person who's going to speak next is from Tamil Nadu. He's been working in a gaming company for the last 7 years. Somebody who's been able to marry purpose, passion, profession, all three together. We know that he's been gaming, not live, but he loves to play video games from the beginning. And he's from Tamil Nadu. And in his free times, he likes to play outdoor games like cricket and badminton. I'm surprised. He's married and he has 2 kids. My personal view is we will all think he is looking down upon us when he's talking. Let me tell you, he has no other goal. If he has to speak to someone of his own height, then he can only be talking to Airtel Towers. The speech title is Polarization of Views. Polarization of Views. Speech title.
I used to think whenever I Google something on the Google search for the small search bar that we see, whenever we type something there, we some certain results. There will be like 5 to 10 links that will be posted on the first page of the result, and it will show some relevant results to us. I used to think these results that we see here are exactly the same result that everyone. Whenever we type something, we all see the same result what I used to assume. But recently I read an article, I came across an article which said that even Google, whenever they populate these results are personalized. Personalized means if I type India, so it's a very simple keyword. If I type just India, the result that I see about India is going to be very different from the result that you are going to see. And it is run by some massive algorithms, and it is taking a lot of factors into account. For example, it can take your current location, it will track your past website clicks or links, anything like that. And then it will decide, okay, this is the most suitable result for this person, and it will show that result to you. At least I assume that this happens only in social media apps like Facebook or Instagram, because that's always personalized. Depends on the people that we have friends or we follow, or the pages that we like. The personalized feed will come to us in the social media apps. I was surprised that even this happens in Google. Now, what happens here is this is a huge problem because our entire life is kind of dictated by these massive algorithms, and we become blind to see the other side of the world. And why these companies do this is because of relevance, because more the relevance, more the engagement from us, and more the revenue for these companies. Even Mark Zuckerberg, CEO of Facebook, he said once that a squirrel which died in front of your house is more relevant to you than 100 people dying in Africa. So what he means is you care about the things that which is relevant to you. You don't care about the things that you are not close to you. So this speaks the volumes of how much important these algorithms are for these companies. Now, this is becoming a problem, mainly in terms of, say, politics. We take politics. There is a research done by Pew Research Center. What they have found is people who are on the left-leaning side, who have left-leaning thought process, they tend to go more towards the left. And people who have right-leaning thought process, they tend to go more towards the right. And this has happened, and this has increased massively in the last 20 years. Especially after this onset of internet, browsing, social media, and all of that stuff. This keeps happening, and people are getting divided farther and farther over the years. And not just the politics, even in terms of, say, let's take Indian cricket team. Gone are the days when the entire 1 billion people sat together and watched Indian cricket. We all wanted one purpose. We all wanted all 11 players to perform, and we wanted the Indian cricket to win at that point. But right now, after the onset of IPL, we have buckets of fans, like RCB fans, MI fans, and CSK fans, and they all wanted to support their own IPL players. And even that gets reflected when it comes to an international match also. So when we go to an international match, fans are happy when, say, Virat Kohli fails. As a Rohit Sharma fan, I'm happy when Virat Kohli fails. Or I'm happy when Rohit Sharma fails as a captain because I'm a Virat Kohli fan. So this rivalry among fans also creates a huge divide, and they post those things online. And previously, we never had anyone to share about. So if I have some negative thought, I don't have a place to share it. Even if I hate someone, I secretly hate someone, I don't go out and express those points. But right now there is a huge platform for me to express that, and people who confirms that opinion, I mean, they think, okay, I mean, there are people like me and they also tend to show the hatred. And why this is happening? So there are researchers who try to answer why this is happening to people. So when I have an opinion and there is something that comes online which confirms that opinion, there is this dopamine hit that I get. So I get that pleasure that, okay, there is someone who thinks like me. So I tend to go and search for similar results or similar posts online. And when I see something again, then again there is a dopamine hit for me. So this keeps me coming back online and looking similar posts, and that's what is keeping us moving in the same direction. Even when I mean, say if I'm a Sachin fan and I think Sachin is the GOAT, I see a post which says Sachin is the GOAT because during Sachin's era there were all legendary bowlers, but right now all the bowlers are weak. And I see that, I get very happy. I think yes, Sachin is the GOAT. Now I see another post. I see that, okay, I mean, during Sachin's era there was no batting power play. Even with that condition, he scored a lot. And I think I'm very sure, okay, Sachin is the GOAT. Then I come with that thought process and enter the next session. I look for more and more such posts. So I become blind to what the other person has to say. Now, I mean, what's the way out of this? Because we are not fighting this because we are alone, and we are fighting against this massive algorithms, which has billions and billions of trillions of data actually, to decide what we want to see on a daily basis. And most of our job also depends on the internet, and we can't escape these things. So there are very few things that I mean, scientists and researchers point out, saying that we can do like very small things in real life when we meet people, because we have a group of people here and we all have very different opinions. All we have to do is just listen to what other people have to say. And the key word here is open-mindedness. We have to go with open-mindedness and really care for what others have to say. In case if we try to enter a conversation for the sake of argument, then it will backfire and we are moving 2 steps backwards. So let's hear everything from others and let's respect others' point of view. Thank you for the opportunity.
He spoke about people going left, going extreme left, people going right, going extreme right. In Bangalore, we all do. I just want to be doing. No, remember this English player called Alan Lamb, cricketer?
Yes, yes.
No matter how much he achieved, he could never become a GOAT. Sorry about this. So the next speech crafter, he is a gentleman whom I call Professor. For a reason that few of us know, you will find it out very soon. He's a techie who works in an IT firm on ORR. That's the maximum he can get to descriptor. I think he worked for CAA or something like that. He didn't want to go to the company's name for whatever reason. And he's from Andhra Pradesh. He's from Vijayawada in Andhra Pradesh. He's married and he has kids. He hasn't disclosed how many. That's fine. And in his free time, he listens to ghazals. And he also says, I guess this should be enough. Please put your hands together for speech crafter Nadeem. And his title is Time Management. Time Management, speech crafter Nadeem.
Thank you, Arun. I want to play director. And I'm not a professor. Okay. Let me start with a question today. Do you know who is the longest serving president of the United States? Is no more. Franklin D. Roosevelt is the longest serving president. He served from 1933, I'm not only 1933, 1945. So Eleanor Roosevelt, the first lady, she famously quoted that yesterday is always history and tomorrow will be a mystery, but today is the gift. That is why we call it the present. This quote has been reported multiple times in multiple places and multiple instances. Recently, I saw it in one of the movies, Kung Fu Panda, but it was showing me that one. So this quote emphasizes the fact that it asks us to realize the importance of the present moment and use it effectively, proper time management. So time management, if you want to define it, it's a process in which you effectively, efficiently utilize your current time to achieve your goals, regardless of their long-term goals or short-term goals. You will customize it accordingly. Time management is driven by something called 3 Ps. We know what is that? PPP. Plan, prioritize, and perform. So these are 3 Ps which time management drives. So today, as part of the section, I would like to narrate a short story which will help you understand how long-term goals can be achieved from time management. So once upon a time, there was a prosperous kingdom which had rich natural resources, and it had a good economy, strong economy and trade. One fine day, the king passes away. The king had no heirs. So the people of the kingdom, along with the council of ministers, decided to adopt the elective monarchy. So elective monarchy means people will elect the king rather than their heirs. So they set up a mandate that the person or the ruler who be elected as a king can serve only for 5 years, not more than that. But in these 5 years, he would have the liberty to rule on his own terms, and he can enjoy his tenure the way he wants. But here comes the challenge. Post his tenure, he would need to spend his rest of the life in a forest, which is full of wild animals, and it did not have any good living conditions. So, given these conditions, few brave souls came forward, hoping that they would survive the life in the forest. So, one of them was elected as the king, and as mandated, he went to the forest after his tenure. Unfortunately, he never came back. So, the people of the kingdom started looking for a new ruler. Given the history, nobody was ready to come forward to take up the post. Then the council of ministers tried to convince several wise people. And after a long time, they managed to figure out a person whose name was Harsha. Harsha was wise, intelligent, and he was a brave person as well. He accepted the offer with a condition. He told that I would become a king, but I would need to visit the forest for a day, escorted by huge security. So he went to the forest and visited the forest and saw everything, and he came back and took the post of the king. Harsha had some thoughts running in his mind. He planned to make the forest a peaceful place where survival is possible. In his first year, he planned and executed the cutting of few trees to make a proper pathway into the forest. In the second year, he planned and executed the movement of some wild animals to a safe zone. Okay, so that it will become a peaceful place for existence. Finally, from the third year onwards, he started farming and built a lot of houses around that. So eventually, what happened was the forest became a peaceful place for existence. So during his 5-year tenure, Harsha used these 3 Ps which I talked about: plan, prioritize, and perform effectively and strategically, so that the forest becomes a peaceful place of the existence. The moral of the story is we have to manage our present effectively, keeping our future in view.
Thank you, Speech Captain Najib. I'm going to make an exception in terms of my evaluation. I want to congratulate Najib for having overcome this one big movement on stage in a course of 1 week or 2 weeks at best. Other speech captains agree to this. Dixon, do you agree?
Yes.
What's the one biggest growth I've always had with Najib? when the king went to the forest. It's gone, and he was very conscious. I actually looked at his legs more and his face today. He was like this. Time for time.
Said one time, I'm not moving.
Exactly. Exactly. I made it to the conversation about it. A very small, but it makes a huge difference. I'm sure people who have listened to him before and listening to him today would have felt a difference. And I personally feel very happy that this has done something. Speechcraft has been useful at least in one facet in that team's life. Very, very good. Thank you, Ranjit. Thank you. The next speaker, the final speaker we have today, he's a semicon engineer by profession. Nothing to do with con. So I'm going to say he is an engineer who works in the field of semiconductors. And he's lived in Australia, he's lived in Singapore, he's lived in Bangalore before as well, and now he's come back to India for good, or that's what he at least believes at this point in time, because he loves India, Bangalore, music, food, movies, and more importantly, storytelling on these topics. Personally, what I have loved when he comes to speak is I look around the entire room to see which one is he going to pick up as a topic today. He's picked up these tissues once and started talking about it. We never knew he was going to use this empty cups and whatnot. It gives me great pleasure in welcoming Speechcrafter Ravi. Helping others is so satisfying. Helping others is so satisfying. Speechcrafter Ravi.
You know, as I look back into my experiences in Australia and Singapore, I can't help but I feel a deep sense of connection with people I've met. It's that genuine moments of human connection made it all worthwhile there. I didn't have a car, so I used to take cabs to get around. And I found myself engaging in the conversations with the drivers, and their real stories have helped me understand the culture locally and made me truly a part of the community. I remember something how simple as $2 for a cup of coffee as a tip would brighten their day. And their genuine appreciation has made me feel good and content. I could really understand that I made a small impact, positive impact, even with a tip of $2. Well, it's not about the money, it's about the impact that I always. But during one of my visits to India, especially in the December, I helped an old man outside the shop. And I gave him an equivalent money, and the gratitude he showed has touched my heart in a profound way. I tried to understand his struggles. So he was fisherman. He left his sheep and village back to get his wife treated in the town. And because of a hospital bill, he gone poor. I cried that day walking back to my, and from that day, I decided that I should help others, no matter how small. And I started helping who are poor by paying medical bills, giving some food, and giving some notebooks. And through all of these actions, I could inspire many of my friends to join and serve the poor and needy. Together, we tangibly impacted lives of over 1,000 individuals. Sometimes I still cry that I couldn't really help that person enough. So it made me contribute more to the community. So I might have not paid millions, but I could bring through all these small acts of kindness, I could bring a small change. And it's a reminder for each of us that we can make difference, no matter how small our contributions may seem. So I'm thankful to all the opportunities I had to connect with people from all walks of life. And I hope that I can bring positive change and impact to the world together with my friends. Thank you for your interest.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ravi. So that brings an end to the first section, which is the prepared speeches by our speech speakers. Thank you, Vinayak. I know you need to leave. Thank you so much. So sorry for listening. I'm very much super. So, how did the Toastmasters enjoy the speeches of speech crafters? Had a good time? Excellent, excellent. Super. So one more round of applause.
That has gone on to impactful things which can be remembered, which can be practiced, which can be installed.
Excellent. Thank you so much. We'll have a quick 5-minute break before we reconvene for the table topics. So feel free to network, etc. We will do something more after the session, but feel free. We just need 5 minutes in the interim. So great. We can ask the speech crafters how their program was, get some candid feedback, and share it back. And we'll reconvene at 11. Yeah.
Then I felt his overall glow means 2 minutes fall around my name. Anyway, I cannot know. I remember all the right. Sunday. I'm trying at least 2 times a day in my school. More than half. Then you can't. I say you will walk about the super fast. You have to do that. Every job I will tell what I will do. These are things that maybe as a honest person, I'm not happy about not telling you movements so you're not. Yeah, there was different parts.
Yes. Then I joined Pathways and completed last year.
I will tell you what I exactly.
Gap.
All actually almost there. You can't do 100% for me. But I like at least 70% what I want to deliver, you deliver, and the rest I manage it is.
Come to
This kind of projects, it's restriction. Yeah. In fact, all materials, everything is good, and that's the law, everything is definitely. But you may not justify always.
What's your own piece? Basically, I joined Toastmasters Forest to be a better communicator. And it's helping me. Whether I complete a path or not, it's helping me. So for this reason, all the more I was focused on completing a path. See, in pathways, no matter how you become a DTM, you have to complete paths.
District officer.
District officer.
Most of the things are common. 2 paths mandatory. I'm planning in this year, I will. Because I'm not doing that much. Not for the sake of it. I just want to do something better.
Benefits are something now, but it's very common.
So that is all.
Yes. Hello. Any guests or members of the? Okay. The name was taken to that was. They have not been so regular, so I don't know the members.
And we are for essay.
The delivery of person.
Is it your mother waiting for you outside? Okay, I invited her, she's comfortable standing outside. So just face the stage if you can, use any of the other chair. Okay, come. Okay, so we'll go to the next section of today's meeting. I'm sure you all enjoyed the rest of the Toastmasters meeting. And we have fantastic attendance, but I'm going to do scarcity marketing. We'll have 5 topics. Put your hand up, 2 hands up, stand up, do whatever you want to get the attention of the Toastmaster. And today's table topics master, I first interacted with him when he called me to do an education session or just a demo speech in this club more than a year back. When he requests you for something, you cannot say no. Yeah, the key term, I mean, the term people use now is called servant leadership, where you make sure the other person is put on a pedestal and they do things for you. And he is one such gentleman. He's been the past president of this club and someone whom we all love collaborating with on anything that he pursues. Put your hands together for the ever sincere.
Thank you, Toastmaster Harold. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I'm happy today because we have lots of attendance today, and as a table topic master, it's a big day for me. The reason is we have lots of members or audience who is ready to talk but don't get an opportunity to talk. Correct. So for the benefit of the guests, table topic is all about impromptu speech. It's like I'm a table topic master. I'll call up a name. The person will come here. I'll give a topic, and the table topic speaker, he or she has to talk about that topic for minimum of 1 minute and maximum of 2 minutes 30 seconds. So that's how the table topics works. Clear, right? The good part is that even guests can also participate in that session if they are uncomfortable. Okay, today there's a small twist. Small twist. Instead of keeping the topics in this bowl, I kept it a lucky draw. So that means I took up a name, and that person has to talk about the topic. So good luck to everyone. Let's start.
Hope you are included on.
Yeah, of course. So as a since this is the first topic, I would like to invite our Bhishma Pitama Foodie Toastmasters Club and GE to select the member, not about talking about the topic. Yes, sir. Just take one. You can do this. No, we have to. Now to read out the topic, so everyone will get a chance to think about that topic for 10 seconds. So that makes big difference, right? The first topic is a day without a golfer is a day wasted. Why you are looking at this? A day without a golfer is a day wasted. I call up the name. Laughter. Oh, okay. It's Angit Jain. Coincidence. I knew that.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. And thank you to Sponsor Dixon for giving me such a nice topic, and it's written there. So I am somebody who is reluctant to, produce that sense of humor and entertainment in any of my speeches. So that was also one of my bosses told me once, "You are a very serious person." But I always wanted that I should also be able to entertain and produce a little bit of humor and learn things about it. So I started studying about it, little bit of the things about it. And then I went through this quote of Charlie Chaplin that a day without laughter is a day wasted. Ultimate purpose of life is to be happy. We all know that. The medium can be relationship, money, health, anything. But ultimate purpose is to be happy. And when I look back to my memories, like someone asked me a question that what all memories do you remember in your life? The number one memory that comes to my mind is when I sit with my mother and talk about something and we have like a lot of laughs and smiles. So every time in our life, we will remember all the time when you were happy. Someone made you smile. We made someone smile. The laughs. For example, Arun, I know I'm observing it from a very long time now, 2, 3 months, and I have seen his Instagram, this comedy reels and all. Making someone smile, making someone happy, laughing, I think is the great way to enjoy life and to spread laughter and joy in everybody, and which is, I think, a good purpose to have. Thank you so much.
Now the second table topic speaker, before that, can you please take one? Okay, the topic is a bad workman always blames his tools. A bad workman always blames his tools. Lucky person, great. Oh, Tanuja.
There's a country you all are very familiar with the name of, that's Finland. It straddles across to, I would say a desert, a cold desert. The minimum temperature over there falls to minus 42 degrees. And you would expect the normal life to be limited to staying inside home under these conditions. But you wouldn't believe that the air in Finland is the purest in the entire world. Not that I've been there, no, but it's all statistics that I know. And you will find people outdoors, snow skating, playing in the ice. Even there are sports developed around ice skating. And the mantra that drives them is something that has impressed me a lot. It's not the cold. It's not the conditions that deter you. Only when you're not well equipped to counter that is what deters you. A person who blames his tools is not well equipped. I used to say that I'm so hesitant to speak in front of people. There's something lacking in me. And I used to avoid, initially when I joined Toastmasters, I joined with the purpose of getting over my hesitancy, but I used to avoid taking up the roles so that I'm not, if I make a mistake, people don't make fun of me. You know, it's normal, everyone goes through it, whether you admit it or not, yes. The reason is that I was not well equipped to deal with the steps or the techniques of facing the crowd. Once I learned that, you call me anytime. Now I don't have it. So it's not the cold that deters you. It's the clothes that you don't wear to counter the cold clothes that deter you. A man who blames his tools has something to think about, that is not his tools, it's his ability not to deal with the tools. Thank you.
And third topic is hope for the best, prepare for the worst. So third topic is hope for the best and prepare for the worst. I would like to call our guest Toastmaster Girish. Yeah, that will come. Every topic. Hope for the best, prepare for the worst.
Thank you, Dixon. I learned this lesson very early in my life. I was in school, and there are so many subjects. There is physics, chemistry, maths, biology. As usual, since you know my engineering background, you would have assumed correctly that I was good at physics, maths, chemistry, but I was terrible at civics, history. We had to learn Marathi, Hindi. So for the longest time, my typical routine would be to not study till the last moment. And then to spend about 3 hours crying. So that somebody, mostly usually my mother, would come and sit with me and we would study the course for the next couple of hours before the exam started. That was not the right thing to do. I was never prepared. I was only hopeful. And that was when I realized that I'm only doing half the equation, which is only hoping for the best and not preparing, forget the worst, not preparing at all. So after that, when I eventually got married, I got married late in my mid-30s. And my wife is the opposite. She will prepare for no matter what, whatever might happen. When we go on a trip, half of our suitcase is medicines for anything, from your headache to like a toothache, everything is covered. The rest we have is your usual clothes and toiletries and whatever. So imagine one person, me at one extreme, who is spiritual and out of the world, and God will do whatever needs to be done. And my wife at the other extreme, who is like, don't trust, expect the worst. Things can go wrong. If they don't go wrong, great. And so now, after being effectively trained by my wife to be a good husband, I have now come to the central awesome position, which is continue to be hopeful, but also prepare, or at least delegate the preparation to your spouse, so that you don't get stuck in places that you don't want. Thank you.
Would you like to take up any topic? Simple one. For you? Not prepared. You can try, it's okay. Just give it a try. It's simple topic.
Just continue with this topic.
Okay, fine. No problem.
We hope for the best, prepare for the worst. Yes. He said the example of exam when we are writing an exam. We might everyone like most of the engineers do the same thing. Like we will cry for 3 years before the day before the exam, right? This is the worst which I faced. Like in my college, I used to do the same thing. I used to prepare for 3 hours or 1 day before the exam. And I'll be right, anyway, I'll get a good grade, then fine. But when it comes to what we call application things, when you apply your knowledge, when you're probleming your, when you find the solution for the problem, then you will get to know like how much definitely you are involved in it, how much you have learned. So that is your work. Like when your example, when one of senior or any one of your seniors had come or your lecturers might be asked you regarding like these are the problems which I have given you, then just solve it because it's already thought like anyway you know the algorithms, everything you have learned it. And this is the worst situation which they had given us, and I didn't prepare for it. Right? So this is the best example for like we have to prepare for the worst means we have to hopefully prepare like every day we have to take this step each and every like I just had a point like she said we have to encounter all the materials or what we equipped with the to encounter the problems. So adopting that thing, we can definitely hope for the best when we are hope for the best if we prepare for the worst in our day-to-day life activities.
Yeah, last question for today's topic. Thank you. The topic is there is no free lunch. There is no free lunch for easy, right? Unfortunately, that person is not in the right now. He moved out. Okay. Eh? No, it is. He was Ajit. He just, I think. Okay, can you take? Okay, I'll take the next person. Lohit? Yes. There is no freelance. Yes.
So it's like
You have another topic?
yeah.
An ideal brain is devil's workshop.
Sorry.
An ideal brain is devil's workshop. An ideal brain is devil's workshop. You can tell whatever comes to your mind. Okay, you just talk about anything comes to your mind.
I'll talk about free lunch only. So
Talk about lunch.
yeah.
Your favorite lunch.
Sorry, I'm little
No,
nervous.
no,
We are here for.
Yeah, no problem.
So free lunch, what it comes to mind is people always look for offers Yeah, so whenever you want to buy something, you don't straight away uh, go to a shop or a showroom and buy something, right? So you always look for if there is any offer in this shop, if there is any offer in other showrooms, in the online, the price you verify, then you some in urgent. If you need that urgently, you just go buy. Later you realize that by mistake I shouldn't have bought this. I should have waited for some offers to come. Maybe Deepavali offer, the stock, year-end offer. So you should have waited for some more time and bought this. But what I feel like whatever we buy or whatever we decide to do something, think about it, take your own time and decide uh, and then do it rather than rushing into it, rather than taking no suggestions from others. You just don't dive into it. So take your own time and decide what needs to be done. Thank you. I'm sorry.
So that's the end of our today's session, and better luck next time for all others who are in that. Power to you.
Thank you so much. Round of applause for our We will do the graduation ceremony in a bit, but before that, can I request the G or for first the time of the come over. G to give us.
Okay. So guys, as a part of the usual meeting process, towards the end of the meeting, we have reports being submitted by the various role takers. So I'll ask Toastmaster Shantakumar, apologies, I missed you at the start. Yeah. Could you read out the report of the day? Thank you.
Excellent speech, really spellbound by all the speeches. Let me first talk about the time taken for speechcraft people to that speech. Okay. Arun completed exactly at 6 minutes. He took 6 minutes time. Deepak, he took 4 minutes 40 seconds. Naren, right? Naren took 6 minutes 40 seconds. Najib, okay. Najib took 5 minutes 26 seconds. And Ravi, 4 minutes. A summary of speechcraft people. Then we go to the table topics. Ankit Jain. So speech table topics was 2 minutes, right? So Ankit Jain took 1 minute 55 seconds. Toastmaster Tanuja took 1 minute 68 seconds. Girish 1 minute 50 seconds. And your name? Meghna took 1 minute exactly. Lohit took 1 minute 20 seconds. So that's a summary of the
Moving on further, so we had a very good session, and typically what happens is we have 3 other roles which come in. So one is the R counter. That person keeps track of how many people said etc. And we have plenty of it, right? Then we have the grammarian. The grammarian is the person who keeps track of the quality of the English used during the meeting. Now, in Toastmasters, we have Indian language clubs. Even there also the same rules are on. So if at all you get anybody who tells you there's a Kannada, Telugu, Tamil club, Malayalam club or a Hindi club, please attend that for a very simple reason. Whatever be our native mother tongue, right? I'm a Malayali, but I can speak 7 other languages. Nothing surprising, they're all at the same level, so don't be shy. The important thing here is when you listen to these languages, when you actually learn, what we know is barely 10 to 20% capacity of what is the collective which is present. I attended Malayalam clubs in Thrissur, Kerala, for example, few times, and I realized like I'm below Anguta Chakra. And I'm not bluffing guys. I felt like I'm below Anguta because they are speaking such perfect vocabulary and language. And I'm like, oh my god, what on earth is happening? District 124, where I'm a member over there now, there's a Hindi speaking club. And I attended a couple of sessions over there. I was shocked Because you're listening to pure Hindi, not even the cinema grade Hindi, which we are all accustomed to. We are talking about Hindi, which you will hear guys like the guy who runs that Aapki Adalat, that grade of Raja, that grade of Hindi. I've attended a Telugu meeting, Telugu club over there. I was really amazed because the polish of the language is what we get exposed to. It's not just the content which is the language also which comes into play. We're not talking English here because there's a global standard jolly well. I will ask you guys to please attend on to that if you can, when you can. Not necessarily Toastmasters, any program where you get to hear the speakers speaking in pure Indian language. I will use that phrase. So moving further is the general report. Toastmaster Arun, who was our PTM for the day, TMOD for the day. He gave us Jhalak Diklaja. Did he tell you that he's a stand-up comedian by primary income source? Secondary income source is being a chartered. So why I emphasize that particular direction is Arun does shows, and I will ask you to come and see his shows because I've attended just one, and I kind of got hooked on it because for a starter, he didn't talk about looking at ogling somebody's wife or stealing somebody's car. No, he didn't start that way, which you see the typical Indian nonsense so-called comedy which you see on TV and all stuff, right? His is clean, simple. I will not touch here, I will not humiliate somebody over there, but still I'll keep my show sellable and make my money at the end of the day. That's his mantra. So please, if you guys can tag onto him, please see his shows. When is the next one, by the way? I'll translate it for you. Now then we had Kalpesh, who was our sergeant at arms. Now the sergeant at arms may seem like a kind of a behind the scenes role, which it truly is. But what it does is, the sergeant at arms typically was a British, we call it origin. In fact, the post itself was English in origin, not American in origin. The sergeant at arms is a guy who ensures that everybody is present, nobody does things. And more importantly, since it originated at the military levels, anybody who attended a military meeting, you leave your weapons outside. So the sergeant at arms was a guy who ensured that no weapons, everybody's weapons are surrendered, checked, collected, stored, locked and key, and then returned back to them after they leave the meeting. These are some of the things which the sergeant at arms kept. And the role and the name got adapted to what happens here in a Toastmasters meeting. The SAA, as we popularly call the phrase, ensures everything needed for the meeting is here. So Kalpesh is here, due diligence guy is his trademark. He comes, he ensures the projector is there, the internet is working, the tables are there, he goes chases that guy over there, I forget his name. Purna, ensures the water bottles are there. Ensures this cardboard box here which contains all the manuals and the hammer and all the stuff is mallet, not hammer. All the stuff is there and the meeting ends. After the meeting is done, he usually hangs on to ensure things are put back. That's what your SA does. So this is what typically happens. Today, the third and the most critical element left out is the evaluation. Evaluation is something which you guys all saw. Today, because it's a graduation session, we are not going to evaluation. A generic point which I personally felt, being the general evaluator, is I felt that everybody's speech was not just a few notches above what I heard last time. I'm using that phrase, okay? Not a few notches. You guys were a few floors above what I heard. Not leaving you out because I don't believe the concept of this. And if I were to pick on a candidate for that, Deepak Ji, and I'll tell you why. When I heard his speech last time, it was like slow build. But today, Deepak actually cut short that slow build concept and he built it to the point wherein he maintained the content and he maintained the time and start to finish what all I would expect the way the speech should have done, executed brilliantly. Excellent work. And that's what I call a ramp. That's just moving not just a few steps on the ladder or a few notches up, is a few floors up. So excellent session, guys. I personally enjoyed it. Thank you so much. Over to the presiding officer.
Thank you so much for fantastic evaluation. We've context based argument that was something that I learned today. Thank you so much. So now we move to the most important and the most joyous part of today's session, which is the graduation ceremony. So what I would request is, again, I would request DTM Manoj to come on stage and hand over the Speechcraft completion certificates to those members. Super. And I request Dixon to come over as well to give it, help him to give it to you. So the first up we have, okay, before that, let's do this. Before that, we also want to thank a few Toastmasters who came to our Speechcraft meeting on Saturday, which is beyond the regular call of duty, and performed roles during our respective meetings. So to that effect, I first request Dixon to inaugurate the Speechcraft giving certificate to, the participation or rather enabling certificate to DTM Manoj for his presence as general evaluator class. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I now request DTM Manoj to hand over the next certificate to Toastmaster Tanuja, who played a role in one of our missions as well. As a GTM expert.
So Tanuja madam has served as a G for the sessions as well as education. Also, if I may go beyond the Toastmasters functionality, she is a language trainer. Thanks to her, you guys are also improved. Thank you so much. Yeah. Yeah. And now the speech crafters, right? Yeah. So we have Najib. Okay. The younger Arun. Thank you, Arun. Small gift from us. Ravi. I love that information. Thank you. Deepak. But I also pay for more. Thank you so much. Dharini.
Now we get the cake cutting and as we bring the cake, can I just have a few views, not very formal, feel free to move on, but how each of you felt during the speech capture, if you can just talk about that, that will be great.
So I'll start with some serious note. Whenever Arun was present, I always felt more pressure. But whenever there was information sessions, I learned a lot of things that I haven't learned in the corporate world in very simple takeaway terms. So most of the times I got actionable items. So that's the reason why I was able to put them down and practice that daily. So I think what corporate can't teach you, I think Toastmasters enable you to do in actions. So that's my takeaway.
Right, we'll have to move upstairs. So this is not allowed to. Sure. Chalo, we'll have to go upstairs.
Yeah.
Okay, your bags.
Thanks everyone joining online. Thank you. Thank you.
We'll have your share also.